I found the pill bottle on the bathroom counter where I'd left it that morning. Same orange plastic. Same white label. Same Pharmacist sticker. But when I twisted the cap and poured them into my palm, something felt wrong. The color was too bright. The shape too perfect. I took one to my daughter, the pharmacist, just to check. "Mom," she whispered, her face going pale. "These aren't blood pressure pills. These are sugar tablets. Someone switched them." That's when I knew. They weren't just trying to steal my house. They were trying to put me in the ground first. It had started 6 months earlier, slowly, the way poison always does. My son Garrett and his wife Simone moved in after what they called a temporary financial setback. I didn't ask questions. He was my son. I had the space. They needed help. That's what mothers do. The first month was fine. Simone cooked dinner twice a week. Garrett mowed the lawn without being asked. They talked about job interviews and apartment hunting. I believed them. Then came the small suggestions. Little adjustments. "Mom, you're taking too many pills. Let us organize them for you." "Mom, you forgot to lock the door again. We should get you a reminder system." "Mom, did you pay the electric bill? You seem distracted lately." I wasn't distracted. I'd been managing a household for 43 years. But they said it with such concern, such gentle worry, that I started to doubt myself. Maybe I was forgetting things. Maybe I was getting older than I realized. So when Simone offered to set up my weekly pill organizer, I said yes. She bought one of those plastic containers with compartments for each day. Monday through Sunday. Morning, noon, evening. Color-coded. She made a whole production of it, sitting at the kitchen table with all my prescription bottles lined up like soldiers. "This is so much easier, Mom," she said, snapping the little lids closed. "Now you won't have to think about it." I thanked her. I thought she was being kind. For 2 weeks, I took the pills she'd sorted. Blue capsule in the morning. White tablet at noon. Small pink pill at night. I swallowed them with water and went about my day, and I felt fine. Better than fine, actually. Energetic. Clear-headed. No more afternoon fatigue. I thought maybe the new organization was helping. Consistency. Routine. But then my daughter Claire came to visit. Claire lived 2 hours away in Portland. She worked as a clinical pharmacist at a hospital. We talked on the phone every Sunday, but she only visited once a month. This time, she came unannounced. It was a Thursday. April 11th. 2:15 p.m. I was in the garden when she pulled up. She got out of her car quickly, her face tight with something I couldn't read. "Mom," she said, walking straight toward me. "We need to talk." I set down my trowel. "What's wrong? Where are your medications?" I blinked. "In the bathroom." "Why?" She didn't answer. Just walked inside. I followed her, dirt still on my hands. In the bathroom, she opened the medicine cabinet and started pulling out bottles. She read each label carefully, checking dates, dosages, refill information. Then she opened the one for my blood pressure medication. Poured the pills into her palm. Stared at them. "Mom," she said slowly. "When did you last refill this?" I thought back. 2 weeks ago. Simone picked it up for me. Claire's jaw tightened. She pulled out her phone, took a photo of the pills, then dropped them back into the bottle. "I need to take this with me," she said. "Why? What's going on?" "I'll tell you when I'm sure." She kissed my forehead and left. I stood in the bathroom, confused and a little frightened. That night at dinner, Garrett asked if Claire had stopped by. "Yeah," I said. She seemed worried about something. "Oh." Simone looked up from her plate. "What about?" "My medications," I said, watching their faces. Neither of them flinched. Simone just smiled. "She's always been a worrier. Probably just wants to make sure you're taking them correctly." Garrett nodded. "You know how she is. Type A personality." I let it drop. But I didn't sleep well that night. Claire called the next morning at 7:43 a.m. Her voice was shaking. Mom, don't take any more pills from that organizer. Do you hear me? Don't touch them. Claire, I ran those pills through the lab last night. They're not your blood pressure medication. They're glucose tablets. Sugar pills. Completely inert. My hand went cold around the phone. Someone switched them, she continued. And I checked the bottle. It's been tampered with. The seal was broken and re-glued. I sat down slowly on the edge of my bed. Are you sure? I'm absolutely sure. Mom, whoever did this wanted you to stop taking your actual medication. You have stage 2 hypertension. Without treatment, you're at serious risk for stroke or heart attack. The room tilted slightly. Mom, are you there? I'm here. Where's your real medication? The actual pills? I thought about it. I don't know. Simone organized everything. Can you look? Right now. I walked back to the bathroom, phone pressed to my ear. I opened the cabinet. Checked the drawer under the sink. Nothing. Then I remembered. Trash day had been Wednesday. The bins were still at the curb. I went outside in my bathrobe. Opened the recycling bin. And there, tucked under a stack of flattened cardboard, was my prescription bottle. Still sealed. Never opened. I brought it inside. I found it, I told Claire. In the trash. Still full. She was silent for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice was different. Harder. Mom, this isn't an accident. This is deliberate. Someone is trying to hurt you. I looked toward the kitchen, where I could hear Garrett and Simone talking quietly over coffee. What do I do? I whispered. First, start taking your real medication again. Hide it somewhere they won't find it. Second, don't let them know you know. Act normal. And third, give me 24 hours. I'm coming back down, and I'm bringing help. What kind of help? The kind that puts people in prison. She hung up. I stood there holding 2 bottles. One full of medicine that could save my life. One full of sugar that could end it, and I realized my son wasn't just stealing from me. He was planning my funeral. I hid the real medication in the bottom of my jewelry box, buried under costume pearls and old bracelets. Then I put the sugar pills back in the organizer exactly as Simone had arranged them. That night at dinner, I took the fake pill in front of them. Swallowed it with water. Smiled. Feeling okay, Mom? Simone asked. Great, I said. Better every day. Garrett squeezed my hand. That's what we like to hear. I excused myself early and went to my room. Locked the door. Took my real medication with shaking hands. Then I sat on my bed and thought about the little notebook I'd seen on Garrett's desk 2 weeks ago. The one with dates and times. Dizzy spell, 3:15 p.m. Complained of headache, morning. Seemed confused about day of week. He'd been documenting. Building a case. Creating a medical history that didn't exist, also that when I finally collapsed, when my untreated hypertension caused the stroke they were counting on, it would look inevitable. Tragic. But not suspicious, and then they'd have everything. The house. My savings. My life insurance. I didn't cry. I just got angry. The quiet kind. The kind that plans. Claire arrived the next afternoon with 2 people. One was a lawyer named Vincent Cross. The other was Detective Sarah Mendez from the Elder Abuse Unit. We sat in a coffee shop 3 blocks from my house. I showed them everything. The fake pills. The real prescription. The notebook I'd photographed when Garrett was in the shower. Vincent studied the notebook carefully. This is premeditation. They're creating a paper trail to support a conservatorship petition. What's that? I asked. Legal control over your finances and medical decisions. They'd argue you're incompetent due to cognitive decline. With this documentation and a complicit doctor, they could get it approved. And once they have conservatorship, Detective Mendez added, they control everything, including whether you get medical treatment. I felt sick. Can you prove they switched the pills? I asked. Claire nodded. I have the lab results. The fake pills have no pharmaceutical markers. And I can testify that the bottle was tampered with. But, Vincent said carefully, we need more. We need to catch them in the act. Prove intent. How? I asked. Detective Mendez leaned forward. You're going to have a medical crisis. A fake one. We'll stage it. And we'll see what they do when they think you're dying. My stomach turned. You want me to pretend to have a stroke? Not a stroke, Claire said gently. A hypertensive emergency. Severe headache, confusion, elevated blood pressure. All symptoms of someone who hasn't been taking their medication. And we'll be watching, Mendez said. Recording. If they delay calling 911, if they try to control the narrative, if they do anything that shows they wanted this to happen, we'll have them. I looked at my daughter. You really think they'd let me die? Her eyes filled with tears. Mom, they've already tried. I agreed to the plan that night. We set the date for 3 days later. Monday, April 22nd. 10:30 a.m. The intervening days were the longest of my life. I continued taking the sugar pills in front of them. Continued hiding my real medication. Continued smiling. On Sunday night, Garrett sat beside me on the couch while we watched television. You know we love you, right, Mom, he said. Of course. And we just want what's best for you. I patted his hand. I know, sweetheart. He looked relieved. Simone and I were talking. We think maybe it's time to think about your future. You know, long-term planning. What kind of planning? Well, if something happened to you, if you got sick, we'd want to make sure we could take care of things. Maybe sign some papers. Just in case. Just in case I had a stroke, I thought. Just in case your plan works. We can talk about it, I said softly. He hugged me. Thanks, Mom. You're the best. Monday morning came clear and cold. Claire had arrived early, parked 2 blocks away. Detective Mendez was in an unmarked van across the street. Vincent was on standby with hospital staff who'd been briefed. At 10:15 a.m., I took my real blood pressure medication, a double dose, as Claire had instructed. It would spike my pressure temporarily but safely. Enough to create real symptoms without real danger. At 10:28 a.m., I started the performance. I was in the kitchen making tea when the headache hit. I'd been expecting it, but it still made me gasp. Sharp pain behind my eyes. Pressure in my skull. I gripped the counter. Mom. Simone was at the table, scrolling her phone. You okay? Headache. I managed. Bad one. She stood, but didn't come closer. Maybe you should lie down. I stumbled toward the living room. Let my legs wobble. Let my words slur slightly. Can't see straight. Garrett appeared in the doorway. He watched me sink onto the couch, his face carefully neutral. Should we call someone? Simone asked him. Not me. Him. Let's wait, Garrett said. See if it passes. I let my head fall back. Closed my eyes. Let my breathing go shallow. Minutes passed. I could hear them whispering in the kitchen. How long? Simone hissed. Just wait, Garrett said. 10 minutes. 15. I moaned softly. Mom. Garrett's voice was closer now. Can you hear me? I didn't respond. Just let my hand fall limp off the couch. Garrett, she's not responsive, Simone said, and there was something in her voice. Not fear. Excitement. Check her pulse. Simone's fingers pressed against my wrist. It's fast. Really fast. More silence. I counted my heartbeats. 53. 54. We should call, Simone said. Wait. 58. 59. Garrett, if she dies here, she's not going to die. She's just having an episode. It'll pass. 71. 72. Then I heard it. A different voice. Step away from her. Now. I opened my eyes. Detective Mendez was standing in the living room doorway, badge raised. Behind her, 2 uniformed officers. Garrett stumbled backward. What the? Mrs. Cora Tillman, Mendez said, looking at me. Are you all right? I sat up slowly. I'm fine, detective. Just acting. Simone's face went white. Acting. Claire walked in from the front door, medical bag in hand. She took my blood pressure quickly, professionally. 160/95, she announced. Elevated but controlled. She's stable. Garrett looked between us, understanding dawning slowly. You set us up. No, I said, standing. You tried to kill me. We just documented it. That's insane. 22 minutes, Detective Mendez said. Your mother showed clear signs of a medical emergency. Confusion. Slurred speech. Non-responsiveness. And you waited 22 minutes before even suggesting calling for help. We were assessing. You were waiting, Mendez cut him off. And we have it all on tape. She gestured toward the smoke detector in the corner. The one Claire had replaced yesterday with a camera. Along with, Claire added, pulling out a folder, lab results showing the pills you've been giving her are placebos. Photographic evidence of her real medication in the trash. And testimony from her primary physician that her hypertension is well controlled with proper treatment you deliberately withheld. Vincent stepped in from the kitchen. Plus the notebook documenting false symptoms. The draft conservatorship petition we found in your email. And the consultation with a probate attorney about expediting inheritance in cases of medical incompetence. Garrett's face went grey. Simone was shaking. This is all circumstantial, she whispered. No, Mendez said. This is attempted murder. Or at minimum, elder abuse, fraud, and reckless endangerment. She gestured to the officers. Garrett Tillman. Simone Tillman. You're both under arrest. I watched them being handcuffed in my living room. The same room where Garrett had taken his first steps. Where I'd read him bedtime stories. Where he'd promised to take care of me when I got old. He looked at me as they led him past. Mom, please. You don't understand. I understand perfectly, I said quietly. You needed money. And I was in the way. It wasn't like that. You tried to give me a stroke, Garrett. You threw away my medication and waited for me to die. Don't insult me by pretending it was anything else. Simone spat at me as she passed. Missed. The officer pulled her forward roughly. When the door closed behind them, the house went silent. Claire hugged me tightly. It's over, Mom. I nodded. But I didn't feel relief. Just a deep, hollow ache where my son used to be. The trial took 7 months. The evidence was overwhelming. The jury deliberated for 90 minutes. Garrett got 8 years. Simone got 6. Both were ordered to pay restitution, $42,000 in medical costs, legal fees, and emotional damages. I attended every day of the trial. Sat in the front row. Listened as prosecutors laid out the plan to kill me piece by piece. The switched pills. The documented symptoms. The conservatorship petition already drafted. The realtor they'd contacted about selling my house after I was placed in care. Garrett's lawyer tried to paint me as vindictive. A controlling mother who couldn't let go, but Claire's testimony destroyed that narrative. She walked the jury through the pharmaceutical evidence. Explained exactly how withholding blood pressure medication from a hypertensive patient would lead to stroke or heart attack. Showed them the timeline, how they'd need just 3 to 6 months of non-treatment before a crisis became likely. This wasn't neglect, she said, looking directly at the jury. This was a countdown. When the verdict came, I felt nothing. No triumph. No vindication. Just exhaustion. Garrett didn't look at me when they led him away. Simone screamed that I'd ruined their lives. I went home to an empty house. Made tea. Sat in the garden. That night, I took my blood pressure medication, the real one, and thought about trust, how easily it's given. How completely it can be betrayed. I sold the house 4 months later. Bought a small condo near Clare in Portland. 1 bedroom. No guest room. No space for anyone to move into and slowly poison me. Claire checks on me twice a week. We have dinner every Sunday. She brings her kids, my grandchildren, and we cook together. I take my medication myself now. Keep it locked in a safe Claire bought me. The combination is our inside joke. The date of the verdict. Sometimes people ask if I regret it. If I wish I'd handled it differently. If I think about reconciliation, but you can't reconcile with someone who measured your life in months and planned your funeral while you were still breathing. Garrett writes me letters from prison. I don't open them. Claire offered to read them first, filter them. I told her to throw them away. Some doors, once closed, stay that way. I'm 71 now. My blood pressure is perfect. My mind is sharp. And every morning when I wake up in my small, safe condo, I'm grateful for 3 things: a daughter who saved my life, a prosecutor who believed her, and sugar pills that looked just different enough to make me question what I knew, because doubt, it turns out, can be the thing that saves you. If you're willing to listen to it.